This is Chris Green reporting from Homestead, Florida. The following is the complete City of Homestead press conference regarding the arrest of now former Mayor Steven C. Bateman on August 28, 2013.
To my right is Councilman Elvis Maldonado, Councilman Steve Shelley, former Vice Mayor and Councilwoman Judy Waldman, Vice Mayor John Burgess, Councilman Jimmy Williams, Councilwoman Patricia Faircloth McCormick, and City Manager George Gretzes. The first individual to the podium will be our Vice Mayor, John Burgess.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. We're here today because of the actions of one individual. Because of the hard work of the State Attorney and the Ethics Commission, that individual has been removed from our government. I'm here today to assure all 64,000 citizens of the City of Homestead, the staff that has so diligently worked here in Homestead, that everything will be normal and we will move forward and make this city prosper better than ever. I'm proud to be a part of this government, and I assure you that this council will safeguard the integrity of our government and of all the citizens of the City of Homestead. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is former Vice Mayor and Councilwoman Judy Waldman.
Yeah, a little bit here. Today is a good day. Justice has been served. It was shortly after Mr. Bateman was elected mayor that I noticed that he was going against our city charter. He was acting as a strong mayor, and in fact, we have a strong city manager government. It was a great joy. It was a great joy when we hired Mr. George Gretzes. Mr. Gretzes was hired, and everybody, I think, felt the same way. We wanted a city manager who would stand up and say no to Steven C. Bateman, and he did. I'm so proud of you, Mr. Gretzes. I don't know where you are, but I'm so proud of you. Oh, there you are. There. And I'm very proud of the staff. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for having that commitment to the city. I appreciate it very, very much. I believe that CHI is just the tip of the iceberg. I think there's so much more. I encourage the State Attorney to keep looking and keep investigating previous actions. I have a strong message, and that is that I have zero tolerance for people using their public office to make money. And I'm truly grateful to the State Attorney's Office, to the County Commission Office. Thank you. Thank you for trusting. It took a long time. But I think this fight for justice certainly is leading the way as to what we should all know and believe. And that is that elected officials, corruption in government will not be tolerated in the City of Homestead. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final speaker today is the City Manager, George Gretzes.
First of all, I think it's important for people to understand that this event today does not impact our services here in Homestead. There will be continuity of services. The garbage and recycling will continue as it always does. The parks will be open. The police will continue to respond to calls. So in terms of the services that we provide here in Homestead, nothing changes. What changes here is this is probably a 4-year effort, which I kind of came in at the back end of, which is a council, and this is a council manager form of government, a council that decided they want to take their government back. And it was pretty clear from day one of this individual's reign here that his attempt was to turn this into a de facto strong mayor form of government and utilize his position to line his pockets. And the truth of the matter is that that's something that these elected officials behind me found offensive. As more and more evidence came forward, the vice mayors respectively did their jobs, and first then Vice Mayor Waldman and then Vice Mayor Burgess contacted the proper authorities to make sure that these incidences were looked into, and it is a whole host of things. We're not here to try anybody or pass any judgment on specific statutes, but I can tell you that the evidence is pretty clear that from day one, City policies were not followed, procedures weren't followed, city laws were not followed. Abuses of power took place with this individual. Staff was bullied. People had special favors done for them. The record is clear. What you'll see here to the right and to the left of me are department heads that survived the crisis and the chaos from one individual who, in his first couple of weeks, started ousting professional staff members to replace them with a crony that would, in essence, do whatever he wanted for his own friends and his neighbors and his campaign contributors. And these are the survivors. These are the people, professional department heads who understood what city laws are, understood that they have an elected body that's serious about the law, and that expects professionalism and ethical behavior. And so despite the fact that they were bullied, despite the fact that they were asked to do things that they shouldn't be doing, and they said no, and then they were retaliated against, they stood in their positions, and they did what was right. And so I can't tell you how proud I am of them. You know, I'm fairly new to these parts. You know, we're here in the outer rim of Miami-Dade County, and it's nice to see you all here, but the truth of the matter is we don't get a whole lot of press coverage. And it took a while for people to start paying attention to what was happening here with this individual, and through the help of the media, and most especially the Miami-Dade County Commission on Ethics, who have been absolutely unbelievable here in their advocacy and their investigations to try to protect this little city from wrongdoing. And of course, the state attorney's office. You know, people sometimes say, geez, why did things take so long? Well, they take long because they want to do things the right way. And we're very pleased that they did things the right way here, so that we all can talk about this now and say, you know, while the government operations have not been interrupted, it has been an interruption to have this kind of interference from what we're supposed to do as public servants. And so if you understood, and I'm sure those who are comfortable talking to you, the respective vice mayors, council members, and department staffs, this has been a long, drawn-out process. It's been 4 years, and but people had the courage to do the right thing and to protect the public. Roughly 30% of the population here is below the poverty line, and people struggling just to survive, particularly during a period of time where the economy has been really terrible. And the last thing the public needed from their elected official is this. And so, look, I've been working in government for about 20 years now, and I've worked for probably 50, 60 elected officials. I understand nobody's perfect. I understand that we all have our flaws. But you can't go into an office and start gutting staff, putting in people, and then start wiping out electric bills and asking government officials to do things that they're not supposed to be doing. And I'm very proud that my team and the council's direction and support, because there were plenty of times where we wondered, could we survive this? And each one of these people behind me would pat us on the back, me and my staff, and say, you just hang in there and you do the right thing. And so we're very blessed to have a body that holds their government to a standard that we should all be proud of. And you know, some people say, well, it's a black mark, it's a sad day. You know, my opinion is this is a healthy day, because sometimes when you recognize you have a problem, the first thing you do is recognize you have a problem, and you deal with it, you address it. And so they addressed it, they dealt with it. It took a lot longer than we had hoped, but whatever happened within the walls of city government, we were able to prevent bad things from happening. If an elected official goes outside those walls and does things they're not supposed to do, we certainly can't control that. But we can control what happens in the building. And I can tell you that, you know, this whole concept of mayor for hire, and you know, you have to pay a mayor privately to get government service. You know, that's not the case in Homestead, and we work really hard to provide good service. And people should know that do business with this city that they don't need to pay anybody outside, elected officials or public officials, to get good service from this government. And I would also ask all you and the members of the media to look long and hard about who was paying an elected official for extra services, and start asking the right questions. And in the case of one entity in particular that's accepting county money, you know, why are they paying $120,000 to an elected official to oversee a project that is really good for the city and really has, nothing to worry about in terms of getting done. Why are they paying? Why are they paying? And who else is paying? And why should they be paying? Because the people behind me don't need to be paid, and my department heads don't need to be paid. We have a very strict ethics policy. So I would just urge you all to ask the right questions, because we don't want to be preyed on either. And so it would be nice for those who think that they can get a quick opportunity to go someplace else, because they're not welcome here. And with that, thank you very much for
Mr. City
coming.
Manager, a quick
And I'd be
question.
happy to answer questions afterwards.
Thank you.
And,
Might you know anybody in this city who has something good to say about the mayor, as far as employees, elected officials, anybody who worked here?
Excuse me?
Might you know anybody who is allied with the former mayor?
That's really not my place to say.
Who takes over the role as mayor?
Those are all questions that the council will have to convene and decide on. The charter has certain provisions for these matters.
Is there an acting mayor?
Well, right now, the vice mayor serves in the capacity of running the meetings, so that won't be an issue. And the elected body will meet to decide how they're going to fill the position. Vice mayor has certain obligations and duties and options before him, but the group will decide once they convene. Thank you very much.
Well, the city's going to operate as it always has. There's no interruptions in any of the services to any of the citizens. Hopefully the government will be able to operate the way it's supposed to now, without one individual being in its way and being a stick in the spokes. And the department heads, the city managers, the city council, and everybody will be able to move forward without having always to ask a question of what might have happened, or is this a legitimate deal, or looking over our shoulders worrying about what might be. Because this has been going on down here for a while now. I mean, the allegations have been there. It's been a long process to get where we are today, and I feel very relieved, and I think the government down here is going to work much more efficiently and be much better off in the long run.
Your sentiments about what's going on, you personally, how do you feel?
Of course, you feel, I'm happy because I was elected 6 years ago for the first time, and I told people that I would be honest and work hard for them. And there's 64,000 people here that are relying on me. So I'm happy today that I'm going to be able to work and move forward at an even better clip than I was, because I don't have any interruptions or things to distract me any longer.
And you say that you guys heard the allegations before about
There's been allegations. There's been, this is a smaller community down here, so of course you hear all kinds of comments and questions and all that. So yes, there have been allegations for a while. There's been stories in the newspaper. There's been stories on the TV referring to different things that go back as far as 3.5, maybe 4 years, as the manager spoke about.
Can Mr. Bateman still legally run for mayor now?
As far as I know, he can. And I would reference what Commissioner Spence Jones did up in the city of Miami a few years back. As far as I know, yes. And as of this time, and maybe the attorney's here, he can tell me, but I'm not even sure that he's been removed from office yet. So he has. Okay.
Will you serve out the remainder of the term in the official capacity of a mayor?
That's something that I have to consider when I go home. This was all sprung on me this morning. There's a lot of different things going on. As you know, we're right in the middle of qualifying for an election season here. Today, my worries are about 64,000 people and the department heads and all the employees of the City of Homestead. I've got a position on council. I can move forward with that, and that's what I'm concerned about, is just making sure that everybody knows that this city is going to be taken care of, and it's going to be taken care of in an honest and decent way.
Any consideration for running for mayor now?
I haven't even thought about that today. There's been so many things and so many different briefings that I've been in with our attorneys and everybody else that like I said, I haven't even had time to consider it today because of everything that's been going on. So at this time, it's not even a factor in my mind.
But there's a possibility.
Politics does strange things to people, I'll put it that way. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you,
thanks.
thank you.
Any other questions, folks?